What's up? Here's how we're attacking the ATL versus BUF single-game showdown for DFS tonight, and we're going to focus on why these plays make sense using the data and the latest reporting. Starting at quarterback, we're very cautious with Michael Penix Jr. His dash rank is 77 with a projection around 15, and his fantasy logs of 23, 6, and 24 show clear ceiling. But the matchup is against the Bills, who have a tough defense overall based on an opponent rank of 8. More importantly, multiple reports have him on the hot seat, and Essentially Sports reported the Falcons announced veteran Kirk Cousins under center with Penix moving into a backup role. With that uncertainty, we're limiting exposure and only using Penix in lineups that assume he plays meaningful snaps. If he ends up starting, his upside can still get there, but our risk tolerance is low given the news and the opponent rank. Running back is where we want to anchor. Bijan Robinson has a dash rank of 94 and a projection near 19, with elite recent outputs of 31, 16, and 27 fantasy points. The Bills have a tough defense overall with the opponent rank of 8, yet Bijan's floor and ceiling profile hold up because he's a true 3-down threat and already averages 24 fantasy points per game. Ownership looks to be about 42%, which is high but warranted for captain builds. We like him as our primary captain because his workload insulates him against a slow game and correlates with any Falcons scoring. For leverage off Bijan and mid-range salary relief, Tyler Allgeier makes sense at 6,600 with a dash rank of 53 and a 7-point projection. He's tracking around 22% owned. We're using him in game scripts where the Falcons lean on the run against a tough defense, or if we think short yardage and clock control tilt some touches his way. He also works in lineups where we fade one of the expensive receivers. At wide receiver, Drake London is our preferred alpha with a projection of 14, a dash rank of 49, and recent games of 28, 11, and 14. He draws the Bills, who have a tough defense overall, opponent rank 8, and he's projecting around 43% owned. We still like him because the target share is bankable, regardless of who is under center. If Cousins does start as reported by Essentially Sports, London's intermediate volume could actually stabilize, making him viable in both captain and flex. Tight end Kyle Pitts is our favorite leverage on the Falcons side. He carries a dash rank of 54, projects around 9, and recently put up 18, 8, and 13. The opponent is a tough defense overall with an opponent rank of 8, and early ownership looks surprisingly low. With public attention on Bijan and London, Pitts offers exposure to Falcons' touchdown equity at a discount, and he capitalizes if the Bills scheme to limit London on the boundary. On the Bills' side, Khalil Shakir looks like the most balanced bring-back. He projects around 11 with a dash rank of 43 and recent scores of 11, 18, and 15. The Falcons have a tough defense overall with an opponent rank of 3, but Shakir has been consistent. There's even a recent article noting the Bills' offense continued its dominant run under Josh Allen, which supports the idea of maintaining wideout productivity even in tougher matchups. With ownership near 17%, Shakir offers solid median value and correlation with Bills' scoring. For tight end value, Dawson Knox at 2,400 projects around 3 and is around 11% owned. Against a tough overall defense, we like him as a salary saver who can score in the red zone. He fits builds where we jam studs like Bijan and London while still keeping exposure to a Bills touchdown path. Kickers are firmly in play with 2 strong defenses on the field. Matt Prater projects around 10 with ownership just under 25%. Parker Romo projects around 8 with about 21% ownership against the Bills, who have a tough defense overall with the opponent rank of 8. In a game where drives can stall against top units, kickers provide a steady floor and salary flexibility. We'll frequently play one kicker, sometimes 2 in low-scoring scripts. Defense and special teams can flip a showdown, and the Bills are our favorite DST value. The Bills unit sits at 4,000 with a dash rank of 100 and a 6-point projection, plus ownership around 9%. Even though the Falcons have one of the worst defenses overall with an opponent rank of 25, what drives this pick is the quarterback uncertainty in Atlanta, per the Essentially Sports report about Cousins taking over and Penix sliding back. Any instability under center can amplify sack and turnover chances, so we like the Bills' DST as a leverage play at modest ownership. The Falcons' defense at 5,100 projects around 5 against a Bills team that has a tough defense overall with an opponent rank of 4, and we'll keep them to contrarian builds where we script a messy, low-scoring game with multiple field goals and potential turnovers. For deep punts, Jamal Agnew at 200 is strictly a large field play. He's basically unowned, and while the projection is minimal, he can get there with a single gadget play or a return, which is the kind of asymmetry we like when we need extreme salary relief. We're largely fading Mitchell Trubisky because the role and projection do not justify the risk on this slate. We'd rather allocate salary to safer workloads and correlated pieces. Putting it together, our core construction starts with Bijan captain in most builds, then one of Drake London or Kyle Pitts for Falcons pass volume, bring back with Khalil Shakir, and round with one kicker or Dawson Knox. In lineups betting on Falcons' offensive volatility, we'll add the Bills' DST at modest ownership for leverage. If you want a contrarian pivot, flip captain to London and use Allgeier plus a kicker to differentiate while still acknowledging the tough defensive opponent ranks on both sides. That's our plan and why we're making these choices. We're prioritizing stable touch profiles, leveraging the quarterback news out of Atlanta as reported by Essentially Sports, and using ownership to decide where to eat chalk and where to pivot. Good luck tonight.